Now, let's say we want to do carbon-carbon coupling reactions with benzene. Specifically, we want to add an alkyl group to carbon. Well, there's two ways, add an alkyl group to a benzene ring. There's two ways we can do this, and they're kind of the same reaction, but there's more steps involved with one or the other. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, where we plan on attaching our benzene ring to a molecule, what's the nature of it? If we form a carbocation, will we get rearrangement? So take a step back to Orgo 1. If we have this compound and we introduce a carbocation into this particular carbon position, we can get carbocation rearrangement to give us this complex. So we will, instead of starting out with the dimethyl or the 3,3-dimethyl, we end up with a 2,3-dimethyl. So if there is a possibility of carbocation rearrangement either through methyl shift or through hydrogen shifts, we have to use what's called Friedel-Crafts Acylation. So Friedel-Crafts Acylation allows us to pretty much attach an alkyl group as if it were a primary group, but here's the catch. We're going to have to do a reaction down the road. So if we are looking at what effectively are terminal alkyl attachments, meaning that we're trying to attach the end of a carbon chain, we're going to use AlCl3 and an acyl chloride. And we can get this acyl chloride by taking carboxylic acid of what we're interested in and reacting with thionyl chloride, SOCl2. If what we are reacting is a secondary or tertiary carbon, so we're not doing this terminal alkyl attachment, but rather attachment to a second degree or tertiary, one where there isn't a chance of rearrangement, we're still going to work with the AlCl3, but in this case we can do the alkyl halide. So we could do something like RCl, assuming that R is a second or third degree carbon. Now in both cases we're going to end up with carbon coupling to the benzene ring. So in this case we're going to get our R group hanging off the side, but again the R here group would have to be something like an isopropyl, a terp, butyl, something that's a high degree carbon. In the case of the AlCl3, we're going to get our benzene ring attached, but this is going to give rise to a benzyl ketone. So, talk about in the next video how to get rid of that ketone, but these are your two options. Now, if you're just trying to attach a secondary or third degree alkyl group to the benzene ring, this is pretty simple. But generally you're not trying to do that, or you don't want to limit yourself to just those scenarios. So what if you want to attach like a propyl group, and you want to attach it at the very end propane group? In this case, you would do this, which is called Friedel-Crafts Acylation. And we're going to talk about in the next video how to get rid of this ketone. If you're trying to attach an alkyl group and you're working with a secondary or tertiary carbon, in that case you can do Friedel-Crafts Acylation. But again, it depends on what you're doing. If you were to do this with something like this, you could not do the alkylation. You would have to work with the acylation. If you were trying to attach this, you could definitely do it by the alkylation, because if you form a carbocation here, it's not going to happen. So that's how you attach alkyl groups to a benzene ring.